A rider can spend the whole week acting normal, answering messages, paying bills, sitting in traffic, being useful to everyone around him. Then he throws a leg over the bike, starts the engine, and something in his body wakes up before he even reaches the road. That feeling has a reason, and psychology explains this in a way you don't even think of. The happiness you feel while riding comes from the way a motorcycle pulls your mind back into direct contact with life. Your attention returns to the road. Your body reads balance, pressure, sound, speed, space, grip. Your mind has fewer places to hide. For a lot of riders, that is the rare moment when the noise gets cut down. People who have never ridden often misunderstand it. They focus on risk and machinery. They see a grown man choosing something exposed and inconvenient when a car would be easier. But a rider knows the private change. Alert again. Capable again. Close to himself again. Daily life can bury that feeling under roles and obligations. Riding brings it back fast. Psychology has language for this. Riding can activate presence, agency, competence, and what Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called flow, attention fully absorbed because challenge and ability meet in real time. So when you say, "I feel more alive on a motorcycle," you may be describing one of the clearest psychological states modern life rarely gives you. The easy explanation says riders love motorcycles because of adrenaline. That answer sounds clean, so people repeat it. They picture a rider chasing danger or trying to prove something. They reduce the whole experience to risk, because risk is the easiest part for outsiders to see. Ask a real rider what he loves most, and speed usually becomes a small part of the answer. He talks about the road opening up, the engine finding its rhythm, the strange calm that appears once the helmet goes on, being alone without feeling lonely. That matters, because adrenaline fades fast. If riding were only a chemical spike, the meaning would wear thin once the body adjusted. But many riders become more attached over time. The older they get, the more the ride seems to matter. A man with a mortgage, a family, and a body that feels different than it did 20 years ago may still crave the bike for reasons he cannot fully explain. The thrill explanation is too small. Riding gives him a rare psychological permission to return to himself. There is a reason riding clears the mind so fast. A motorcycle demands clean attention. The road will not care about your mood. The corner will not pause because your thoughts drifted. The bike asks for your body, your eyes, your balance, your judgment. Now, that demand can feel harsh to outsiders. To a rider, it can feel honest. Most of daily life lets a man split himself into pieces. One part answers emails. Another thinks about money. Another remembers an argument from yesterday. Another wonders whether he is doing enough. The bike refuses that split. When you ride, attention comes back into one place. Your eyes scan the road. Your hands feel small changes through the bars. Your feet respond before language gets involved. That is why the mind gets quiet. A lot of riders describe this as peace, but it is an active kind of peace. You are calm because the ride gives your mind a job worth respecting. This connects to flow. Csikszentmihalyi used that word for the state where skill and challenge meet. Too easy and the mind gets bored. Too much and the body tightens. When the challenge is just high enough, attention locks in. Riding can create that state almost instantly. Lean. Breathe. Look through the turn. Roll on gently. The rider feels alive because his mind has stopped wandering away from his life. For once, he is inside the moment he is living. Focus only explains part of it. A rider comes back from a good ride restored. That is the part people miss when they judge riding from the outside. They look at the machine and give the machine all the credit, but the machine mainly creates the conditions. The rider brings judgment, courage, restraint, and trust in his own body. Once those parts of him wake up, the ride starts doing something deeper than clearing stress. It reminds him that he can still meet life directly. The second reason riders feel more alive is control. Real control. A motorcycle gives instant feedback. Small inputs matter, a little pressure from the hand, a slight shift in weight, a better line through the corner, a smoother throttle. The rider acts and the bike answers. That response does something to the nervous system. It tells the rider, you are still capable. For many men, that feeling has been missing for years. Daily life often turns competence into maintenance. Keep the job stable, keep the bills handled, keep problems from getting worse. Useful work. Heavy work. Invisible work. The motorcycle gives competence back in a form the rider can feel through his body. Skill has a sound. Balance has a texture. Progress can be felt in the hands. This is why riding can feel like self-validation. A good ride tests him. It asks for attention, restraint, timing, patience, and respect. When he meets that demand, something inside him gets confirmed. He needed no applause. The road gave him feedback. That is also why many riders become calmer with experience. The young rider may chase intensity. The seasoned rider often values smoothness, awareness, and respect for limits. Ordinary control often means managing pressure. On the bike, control feels alive because it is direct. The rider makes a choice and immediately feels whether the choice was clean. That is rare. For a person who spends most of life trapped in roles, that direct feedback can feel almost emotional. The bike says, you are still here. The rider believes it. Let's be honest, the danger matters. Every serious rider knows that. A motorcycle asks more from the person riding it because there is less protection between the body and the world. Bad judgment, ego, and distraction all have a cost. That truth should stay visible. Risk alone cannot explain why riders keep coming back. Many riders respect the danger more as they age. They check the weather. They maintain the bike. They ride within their limits. They study road position, braking, traffic, and their own mood before leaving. That is the part outsiders rarely see. A mature rider is often one of the most self-aware people on the road because riding punishes denial quickly. If he is angry, tired, distracted, rushed, or trying to prove something, the bike will expose it. So the psychological value of riding depends on respect. Without respect, riding becomes impulse. With respect, riding becomes discipline. And discipline is one reason it feels meaningful. The rider chooses contact with life while accepting responsibility for how he moves through it. There is another layer riders understand before they can explain it. Identity. A motorcycle does something strange to a person. It takes a private feeling and makes it visible. The bike you ride, the roads you choose, the gear you trust, the pace you prefer, all of it starts to say something about you. Quietly, without a speech. That matters because many people spend years being known mainly by their roles. Provider, employee, parent, husband, problem solver, reliable person. Those roles can be honorable, and they can also become heavy. After a while, everyone knows what he does for them, while almost nobody sees who he is underneath. Then riding gives him a separate place to exist. On the bike, he becomes more than useful. Present, alert, awake. Someone with taste, instinct, judgment, and a private relationship with the road. That is why the garage can feel personal. That is why a short ride after work can change the whole evening. That is why the sound of the engine can feel like a door opening inside the chest. It gives the rider access to a part of himself that routine rarely asks for. There is also belonging. Riders may look independent from the outside, and many are. Yet even the most solitary rider knows the small recognition that passes between two people who understand the same feeling. The nod, the glance at a fuel stop, the conversation that starts with a bike and drifts into roads, age, family, close calls, and freedom. No forced intimacy. No performance. Just recognition. That recognition matters because riders often carry a feeling they cannot explain to non-riders. Around other riders, they do not have to justify the ride. The other person already knows. And for many riders, that is enough. Synthesis. So the feeling is real. Riding makes people feel more alive because it brings several psychological needs into the same moment. Most parts of modern life separate those things. A person can be responsible while feeling trapped, busy while feeling scattered, useful while feeling unseen, safe while feeling numb. Riding puts those parts back in the same place. The rider feels the road under him. He makes decisions that matter. He trusts his body again. He gets feedback from the machine. He steps outside the roles that usually define him and remembers there is still a self underneath them. That is why the ride can feel emotional after a hard week. The bike may leave his problems waiting at home. But for that stretch of road, it gives him proof that he is still awake inside his own life. And once a rider has felt that, ordinary routine can feel too numb without it. A rider who understands this stops apologizing for the feeling. He can hear the criticism without letting it define him. Too dangerous. Too old. Too impractical. Midlife crisis. Those comments usually come from people judging the outside of the behavior. They see the bike. They miss the inner experience. The rider knows what the ride gives him. A clearer mind. A sharper body. A stronger sense of self. There is dignity in that. The need to feel alive belongs to being human. A person can be responsible and still need freedom. He can love his family and still need solitude. He can be mature and still need moments that wake up his blood. The ride becomes a reminder that part of him still responds to life, still chooses, still learns, and still pays attention. And that matters as a man gets older. Age can make people smaller when routine takes too much. The world starts asking for fewer risks and fewer moments of honest intensity. People become easier to manage when they become predictable. The rider resists that. He may have responsibilities. He may have scars. He may have reasons to stay careful. But when he rides with skill and respect, he protects a part of himself that life has tried to flatten. That is the identity shift. The rider stops seeing his love of motorcycles as something he has to explain away. He starts seeing it as evidence. Evidence that he still values freedom. Evidence that he still trusts himself. Evidence that he still wants direct contact with life. So when someone asks why riding makes him so happy, the answer can be simple. Because on the bike, he remembers who he is. If riding has ever made you feel more like yourself, there is probably a reason. Write, "I feel alive when I ride," in the comments if this put words to something you have felt for years. And pay attention to the other riders who comment the same thing. Because that is the part many riders rarely get in normal life. They have felt the same quiet shift when the helmet went on. They have come back calmer than when they left. They have tried to explain why a motorcycle feels so personal and had people look at them like they were being dramatic. You were describing presence. You were describing freedom. You were describing the rare feeling of being fully inside your own life. So if this video helped you understand yourself a little better, subscribe for more psychology that explains the parts of you most people misunderstand. And the next time someone asks why riding makes you so happy, you do not need a perfect answer. Just remember this. Some people go through life protected from everything. A rider chooses to feel the road.